test for COVID-19 has been approved by Health Canada. Here to talk all about this, I'm joined live by Michelle Hoad, CEO of the Medical Laboratory Professionals Association of Ontario. Michelle, Happy New Year. Great to have you on. Tell us more about this new test. It's supposed to be less invasive.
Yes, it is. Happy New Year, Lena. It is good news. It actually was signed back in November, so we received about 200,000, so they're going through a verification process. But the good news about these rapid tests is they're not as invasive, meaning you don't have a swab that goes right up into your sinuses. It's now just a nasal swab that'll swab the inside of your nostril. So definitely will be better for our children and people that find it very invasive.
Right. Still being reviewed here in Ontario. Once it's approved, if it's approved, what do you think it could mean for the province and for labs here?
Well, I think we need to, we've talked about this, you and I, a fair bit around being very cautious with these rapid tests because they really are just assessment tools for us. The PCR test, which is the gold standard test that happens in our lab, is almost 100% accurate. The problem with these rapid tests is there's an error rate around 22%. So we have to be really cautious. I think they will help us. It'll give us data. It'll help us understand who's carrying a high viral load, but it's not the best option for us.
Right, and you've mentioned that in previous conversations as well. Who do you think this helps? Do you think it could help long-term care homes as well? I mean, obviously, robust testing is needed in these facilities all over the province.
Absolutely. Long-term care homes is a perfect example. Everybody within the home, the staff need to get tested. Getting them tested regularly is great. Also in our rural and remote communities, like places where there isn't a PCR machine that resides in a community center. So somewhere where it's very hard to get to. So having these small little units there will provide information and data for those communities.
Okay, 7.7 million. That is how many COVID-19 tests, Michelle, have been conducted in Ontario to date. It's a bleak milestone. Can you give us a sense of what the last few months have been like for people working in these labs, these lab professionals? How would you even sum up these last few months?
So if we look at it overall, 184 million tests get done each year in Ontario. So these are an additional, we're almost going to hit 8 million. So that's an additional 8 million for a group of people that were already understaffed. So we ran a survey about 14 days ago, and we've learned 86% of our lab professionals are stressed out. 80% are stating it's affected their home life, and 44% are contemplating stress leave. So those numbers are stark and very concerning for us because these are the folks that sit and wait for those PCR tests to come in, do them, and actually give up almost their lives to make sure that we in Ontario get those numbers.
And I'm sure after the holidays, even more people will be heading to go get a COVID-19 test. Of course, the hope was that everybody stayed home. Is there a solution here to sort of take that burden off these lab technologists?
I would love to say the solution is very easy, but there isn't a quick solution. I think the solution that we are all collectively talking about is making sure that we are all responsible citizens in this province. We follow the protocols and we stay home. New Year's Eve was last night, and unfortunately, there was a lot of things I saw and heard that were very, very sad. People that aren't following the rules, people that just think the rules don't apply to them. I think one thing we need to remember is when you do that, it affects not only our community, but thousands of lab professionals that are working day and night to process tests that may not be needed.
Such a great message there. Before we let you go, anything you can tell us about the testing backlog right now?
Yeah, so the backlog issue, again, is around shortages of products, shortages of reagents. They are doing their best. We'll start to see that number get a little bit better over the next 7 days, but we can stay rest assured that those lab professionals are doing everything they can to kind of work through those numbers.
Okay, Michelle Hoad, always a pleasure, and as always, appreciate your insight. Thanks so much.
Have a good day.
You too, Michelle. It is 11:13 now, 0 outside. This is Toronto's breaking news. CP24